Lex Luthor is battling Hawkgirl at the docks and he gets the upper hand, but Superman enters the chat. He deflects Lex's attacks, but Hawkgirl complains that she doesn't need any help. Lex fires back, but Superman counters with his laser. Hawkgirl finally had enough, and sends him packing. Superman chases after him, so Lex hits a cruise ship, knowing they're gonna leave him and go save it. Meanwhile at Lexcorp, Mercy is on the phone when she finds Lex in pretty bad shape at the office. Lex asks for help, and falls over again. She then starts putting a sinister smile on. She's happy that Lex is dying. He gave her the company, and she's taking advantage of it. She brought up the stock 38% on her own, but Lex grabs her by the neck and asks for Professor Ivo, but she says she fired him. She was trying to save money but tells Lex where to find him. He lets her go and leaves. Meanwhile, the people on the yacht are in distress, but Martian Manhunter comes through. Superman lifts up a whole ship and they save everyone. Superman says that they're looking for Lex everywhere, but wants the Martian to make a psychic sweep through the whole city. He's never tried it and is afraid of attempting it. Lex visits the professor and doesn't wait for an answer. He roams inside but finds that the professor is dead, but something creeps from behind. A robot ignores Lex and covers up the professor. It scans Lex and morphs its face into him. Around the city, Martian Manhunter makes a full scan, but he starts to get reads of everyone around him. He can't seem to control it and is quickly overwhelmed by all of it, so he just flies away. He goes to a cathedral where he breaks down, but it doesn't stop. He continues hearing voices in his head until he's driven mad. Later on, Lex is still dying and is speaking to Amazo. They both miss the professor, and Lex says that he's going to take care of Amazo from now on. He then tricks Amazo into helping him and tells him he needs fuel. At a power plant, someone is breaking in. That someone is Amazo, and he dispatches the guards quickly. He begins pounding on the door, but then just scans the security's fingerprints and gets inside. Security fires toward him, and he walks them down. He jumps all the way down, and one of the guards throws a smoke bomb, but it doesn't faze him. He grabs the fuel Lex needs and storms his way out of the facility. Hawkgirl arrives at the scene and confronts him, but he runs.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
She intercepts him and grabs the fuel, and he copies her wing and mace. They start fighting, but Hawkgirl shows her experience with the mace, but he outmaneuvers her. As she wakes up tied, police fire toward him and grab the power source, so he takes it right back. He gets back to Lex with it, and Lex asks if Hawkgirl is still alive, and is disappointed to learn she is. Lex lies to Amazo and tells him that he was a hero, and the Justice League are the bad guys. He wants to take back control of his empire and hand it back to someone, but he needs Amazo to get rid of the Justice League. Later on, Mercy is saying that Lex is the most twisted man she's ever met and agrees to help the Justice League. She's hiding something from them, and Superman picks that up from her. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter is still going crazy with the voices in his head. Superman calls him, but Martian Manhunter just lashes out at him and runs away. He reverts back to his original self and sets out into the woods. Hawkgirl gets patched up and tells them about Amazo and how it copies her. They then find it on the TV in the city, terrorizing police and attacking everyone in sight. Backup arrives, but Amazo just flies off. Wonderwoman lassos it and brings him down, but he copies her strength. Green Lantern comes in, but he copies the ring as well and blasts the whole team. It hits Flash and copies him as well. Now it has everyone's powers. Green Lantern is able to knock it off a building, and Hawkgirl goes after it, but she gets destroyed. The same happens with Wonderwoman, who is trying to keep up with the assault. Green Lantern tries to shield her, but he's getting pounded on. Mercy decides to call Lex, who then gets a heart attack. Batman tracks down Ivo and tells Superman that his specialty is nanotechnology. Green Lantern calls them and says that Amazo is copying their powers just by looking at them, and warns them not to come. If they go, he'll get even stronger. Green Lantern is overcome, but Superman joins the fight, exactly what he was told not to do. He covers Amazo's eyes and starts beating it off, getting it wet and sloppy. He pounds and pounds until Amazo gets hard and shoots at Superman. Superman comes out of the rubble and Amazo scans him, gaining his powers. They're in deep trouble now that Amazo has everyone's powers at the same time. Amazo walks up to Superman, but he flies off, and Amazo follows. They fight in the air, but Superman is getting his ass handed to him. He lasers Amazo off, but Amazo sends it right back. The fight continues, and Superman tries whatever he can to take it down. Batman arrives to take it from there, which is the smart choice from the beginning, as he doesn't have any powers, but he does have kryptonite. Amazo crumbles right away and crawls to the edge of the roof. Amazo gets their strengths, but also gets their weaknesses. He dives off into the sewers and Batman takes off. Back at Lex, he's fixing up his suit and gets a visit from Mercy. Lex has been expecting her, and she warns Lex that Batman and Superman came by. He gets angry knowing he doesn't have much time. She helps him assemble his things. Meanwhile, the Justice League is looking for Amazo, but finds nothing. They also have to find Lex and Martian Manhunter, so they decide to split up. Martian Manhunter is hurt by all the feelings he felt. He doesn't know what he's fighting for, as he felt that all humans are selfish. He finds a search party looking for a little girl. The League make their way over to the mansion, but Flash gets blasted at the door. Should have let Superman go first. He blows away the fire, while Green Lantern splashes all over it. In the distance, Amazo watches them. Flash pulls out some files, and Amazo hears that Lex was not there. At a random warehouse, Lex hides at a secret hideout covered in lead to stay out of Superman's sight. He tries to seduce Mercy, but she knows he's not good for her. He's got the Justice League after him, but he trusts that Amazo will kill them. Meanwhile, Amazo is patrolling the city, trying to find Lex. He mistakes a random bald man for him. Lex loses power at his warehouse, and suddenly, Amazo blasts through. Lex explains that Mercy is with them, and Amazo immediately begins hitting on her. He probably must have picked that up from the Flash. Amazo questions Lex why he left the house, and Lex starts shouting at him to kill the Justice League. Amazo demands to know why, and refuses to listen to Lex. Back at the search party, Martian Manhunter is hiding from them. He reads a man's thoughts, that he doesn't know the little girl, but he's doing the right thing. One after another, he hears how all these people are doing whatever it takes to find the little girl. With that, he regains hope. At the mansion, Flash finds a hand in the dirt. He calls the team and they assume that it's Professor Ivo. They figure that Amazo is connected to the professor and that he built him to be able to evolve. Lex is trying to guilt trip Amazo to help him kill the Justice League, but he doesn't buy it. He fakes a heart attack, and Amazo agrees to do it, but Mercy can see right through his tricks. Lex finds it funny, and he possesses a kill switch that can kill Amazo at any moment. He thinks that he will get Amazo to do his bidding out of love, though. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter is looking for the girl and listening to the voices. No one is giving up, and he suddenly hears the girl's voice. He goes over to her in his hero form and saves her. He returns to the people with her, and everyone is extremely happy and thankful. He then phases out of there and is met by Wonderwoman. She gives him a hug and he's finally back. Back in the city, Hawkgirl finds Amazo, and Batman warns her not to go near him. He tells Superman to stay away, as he'll be using kryptonite again. The team assembles and makes their way over, but Amazo attacks Hawkgirl. He uses the ring to overcome her and knock her down. She tries to throw hands, but he outboxes her. Batman then arrives and whips out the kryptonite. Amazo then adapts to the kryptonite and evolves. Superman and Flash arrive, but Superman gets hit with kryptonite. Flash saves him from it, but Amazo is behind him. Flash tries using his speed on him but gets caught, but he gets hit by Green Lantern. They have a battle of the rings to find out who's the brightest of them all. Wonder Woman gives Martian Manhunter orders to stay put so he doesn't copy his powers and then joins the fight. Amazo is taking on 3 at once, and then Lex enters the fight, destroying everyone with ease. Things aren't looking good for the Justice League. Lex orders Amazo to kill them. Then Martian Manhunter finally arrives telling him they're not the enemy. Amazo copies his powers and starts to read their minds. He then sees the truth in front of him and finds out that Lex lied to him. He reads his mind and Lex whips out the device, blowing Amazo to shreds, but Amazo can adapt. Lex runs like a coward, but Amazo catches him and teaches him a lesson. He destroys Lex's suit and strips him of it while the League watches. In the end, Amazo belittles all of them and says that he doesn't need anything from anyone. He looks into space and flies away, deciding to live elsewhere. Lex says he's just a machine, but Superman grabs him. The next day, Mercy gets a call from Lex, who is in prison. He has one phone call, and she just hangs up on his face. This was the creation of Amazo. He was more of a conscious being in this story than in the other movies he appeared in. We also could not decide whether he was a hero or a villain. We liked his look and the potential he holds to become one of the strongest heroes in the universe. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this story. What did you think about Amazo? Should he be able to beat all the Justice League members at once, or should he have a weakness? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.